Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. Today we're in our AJS37 Viggen and we're looking at using the RB-15 anti-ship missile yet again. So this is our third video on this missile, and the reason this is the third video is because it's a complicated missile and there's various ways you can employ it. Now, we've done a big video, a 30-minute video, showing the air quotes standard way of firing the missile. That is to set the missile up with full geographic coordinates in the form of geographic BX points. We do that from the cockpit using our data entry computer here. Now, I'm not going to talk any more about that because I've got a full video on it, but that's one way of doing it. Then, the second video, I did a streamlined version of that, and rather than having to put the BX coordinates, which is the things that guide the RB-15 missiles, here in the cockpit, we could use the F10 map. If you remember, we could put user marks here, and it streamlines the programming of the missiles a little. I just found it a little bit easier. That said, it was still difficult. Now, I did a mission recently using that streamlined F10 map marker method in a mission, and I cocked it up. I got it wrong. I got one of the BX points here and one of them here. They were slightly too close to each other. I didn't realize that. I don't have time to sit down and read the manual for this thing, and it messed up. The missile wouldn't fire. It messed up my mission completely. So I said to my guys, look, there's got to be an easier way of firing these missiles. They're just too hard to use. If you're like me, you just don't get time to practice the Viggen. I get to use it once a month if I'm lucky, and that's in a mission. I just don't have time to practice it. And so they've come up with a really easy way of using the RB-15. Anyone can do it, literally. It takes no training at all. And so we're going to use it today. In fact, technically, I'm going to split that into two methods. So we're going to look at two ways of doing it today. So we're going to go straight to it. We're armed up with two RB-15s, and that's it. We're going to show you the controls of this first method. We did a massive two controls. Trigger, hold, safety bracket to hold, and to fire the missile, weapon release. Anyone can remember that, even me. Next, we're going to set our QFE. I'm not even 100%. I need to set the QFE for this, but as good practice, a good Viggen pilot will always set the QFE of the target anyway when employing weapons. So we know that it's a ship, it's going to be sea level, so I'm just going to set it at the sea level Q and H, which is there, 1012. I can just about see. That's the QFE set. Easy job. Next, we're going to go our weapon master mode and right click until we get to attack. Easy, done. Next, we're going to decide whether we want to launch two missiles at once or one missile at a time. I want two missiles at once. Next, we're going to turn it into this mode that we're talking about today, which is the preset quick release easy fire method. So just change from Val B down to standard. Val B means you're going to control the missiles by our BX coordinates as shown in the other two videos. Standard means that the missiles will just fire on a preset mode. You don't give them any information at all. All you do is point your plane roughly towards where you think some ships are and that you think are roughly in range. You pull the trigger, the missiles just fly out, not guided at all, and they will track and lock onto the ships, assuming they are in front of the plane, up to about 40 miles. Now, I've heard a lot of people slagging this method off, saying it's not very effective, it can't do very high range, stuff like that. I've been doing some testing. It turns out that, well, it's just not true. I have tested the maximum range of this missile to over 40 miles, 70 kilometers in the Val B mode, and I've tested it in the standard mode, this one, the preset mode, and I've got the same range of 70 plus kilometers. So bearing that in mind, the only real disadvantage of this preset mode is that we can't control exactly where the missile is going to go. We're roughly dumb firing at a target and we hope it's going to lock onto that target. As long as there are no friendly ships in the AO and it's only hostile ships that this thing can lock onto, then there's no real problem with it. I'm going to use this method all the time from now on because you just can't get it wrong. So that's everything set up and we're ready to go. Take a note, we fire this missile in this mode on nav mode, not in ANF mode. You would usually fire the missile on ANF mode if you were doing it in the Val B method. Let's have a quick look what we've got today. We are here at this island. The hostiles boats are somewhere above Siri Island, 10 to 20 miles. We don't know exactly where, and they're sailing south-north. We don't need to know exactly where they are. We just dumbfire the missile within a few degrees of azimuth, and we can be pretty sure we can get there. As for range, our island is 27 kilometers, and just to prove the range of this missile, what we'll do is we'll fly out here and then come in and add some extra range to make it even harder. So regards the methods that we can do this, there are two. One is you fly to where very rough idea, this direction here, until you see the hostiles with your eyes. You can see them at about 20 plus miles with your eyes. We'll do that method first, and then you just launch the missiles and then fly away. The second method that we'll do after that is using our radar, and that way we can find the hostiles a lot further away. We can find them 40 plus miles away. So let's do the visual method first. So burners on, speed up time, Rotate. Check gear. And let's go and find those bad guys. We know they're roughly about 270-ish. So let's go and find them that way. Speed up time. Ping. So let's look for some... I've already seen them. There they are. I don't know if you can see them on what you're looking at, because the video compression, obviously you lose detail, but I can tell you that is a bunch of ships I can clearly see there. I know there's no friendly ships, so they must be hostile ships, and I am a distance of, I think they're roughly about there-ish, but we're above 25 miles. So I'm going to fire my missiles. Let me just double check my settings. I'm in standard and I'm in series, so and I'm on attack. So I'm going to level out. Speed doesn't really matter. If I'm going faster, it will give me a tiny bit more range, but it's almost negligible. And we have to be between a altitude of 50 meters up to 2,000 meters ASL. So let's level out. And cap bruiser times 2. Off they go. Put myself in autopilot, and we've got a lovely leisurely stroll now while this missile's going. You'll see how easy that was. There's literally nothing you can do to get that wrong. So I can start flying the Viggen now because I'm stupid and I can't seem to learn the other method. Let's follow our missiles. Speed up time. Super duper. So that's there. The only thing to note, wow, look, my plane, that shows how slow these missiles fly. I've literally caught up with them at Mach 0.8. The only note to make there is that they both went for the same target. I believe you can actually control that if we use the TACT input mode, and there are different settings we can put these missiles under. I'm not going to go through that now because I covered that in the first and the second video, so I'm just trying to show that we can hit the target. So that was a 25-mile shot just using visual. I probably could have spotted them further away if I'd gone further away. Next, we're going to take off, head east this time, and we're going to use our radar and see how we can get the absolute maximum shot using the radar. So stand by. Okay, here we are again. It's so easy to set up. I'm just going to show you it again. Bosh. 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 Done. Let's fire. Okay, so let's look at the massive amount of controls that we have to learn this time. As well as the fire button, we also have to learn to turn our radar on by pressing the 1 key. And also, we're probably going to want to zoom the radar in and out. So that key and that key. Really, really hard. Full power. Speed up. Right, let's fly in this direction for a bit. Okay, let's check how far we are. Better pause that so I don't kill myself. We are 50 miles. Yeah, we're not going to want to shoot much further than that, so that'll do. Let's turn round. It's roughly... So, it's pretty realistic. We know it's roughly west. That's all we know. Let's get our radar on. And I managed to press the wrong button, so that's well done, Cap. 1, there we go. 1 key turns it on. Head west. I'm going to zoom the radar out to 120 kilometers, which is what? 70 miles, 80 miles, something like that. Okay, 265. Let's level out. Now let's have a look at our radar screen. And obviously, that there is a bunch of boats. If you've ever used the radar at sea and you see a nice lovely black dot, you don't even need to mess with all the settings you've got here. You can see that is clearly my ships. And we don't even really need to do anything. We don't need to mess around with the radar screen. We don't need to lock. All we need to do is maneuver our plane so that it is in a 12 o'clock position on this line here. We need to get the rough distance and got a total scan range of 120 clicks. So we're there. That's 120 clicks. So halfway there is about 60 clicks. So he is going to be about 80 to 90 clicks at the moment. So he is just a bit out of our range. So we're not going to try firing this soon. So let's carry on. So just keep him on our 12 o'clock position. Bung the autopilot on and go for a quick cup of tea. About 70 kilometers, so about the max range roughly of what the missile can do, but just for this tutorial we'll go a little bit closer. I don't want to miss and embarrass myself in front of everyone. A little bit closer. I'd say that's just above halfway. It's about 65 kilometers, so that's fire now. Release, fire. Both of them gone at just under 70 kilometers, so fingers crossed. Let's follow the missiles in. That was a 65-kilometer shot, and it was incredibly easy to do using the radar. Again, we didn't need to lock anything on the radar. Just find where they roughly are, fire the missile when they're roughly in range. Simple as that. And obviously, as soon as I fired the missile, these are fire and forget missiles, I could have just turned around and I would never have been in trouble. I would never have got shot down like I did the other day. So lessons learned. So that is what I think is just the easiest way if you're not going to be a hardcore Viggen pilot to use the RB-15. So go out, do that, enjoy it, have fun. I hope that helps, and see you later.